What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to the Shoshimin series, this time with Season 2, Episode 3. Good episode last time out, really shoving it in our faces with the whole, it's like Garon something, the whole caramel sweet thing that just ended up just being like the most diabetes thing you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, literally just like analyzing, no, it was an analogy. How do you say that in reference to him being an analogy? I don't know, but I was going to say analogizing, but that is definitely not a word. But yeah, he was the ingredient in that situation. Kept getting thicker and thicker. The plot thickens that she is creating. She is the mastermind cooking the super sweet treat, isn't she? I think that's what that was referencing there, is what I'm trying to say. Horrible way of doing it, I know. But yeah, enjoying all the perspectives we did see last episode. I think things might heat up a little bit today, considering the crimes have been heating up. And I think we saw her at a bench. I'm not sure what the significance was, but when we do think of the previous things, like the van, the bike, they've all had some significance to past stories, so I'm not really sure what will be the only thing I could say was a person, like she'd be burning a person. But I don't think she'd murder someone. She's broken a lot of laws, but I don't think she'd go that far. Although I'm not so confident about that. Some people were theorizing that it might be the redhead's friend, but again, I'm pretty damn. Maybe he's involved to some degree. But even if he is, I feel like even if he was the one doing this, he would be doing this because I always forget her name, but because the devil girl is setting him up to do it. Oh, how do I always forget her name? She's so easily the best character from the series. Yeah, I always remember Kabato's name because it's not all that common. Like, I much prefer to Kabato. It's just one of those things. I'm bad with names. Osanai. There we go. And that's not a common name either. It's harder to remember. Yeah, I do remember they were gonna like double down on this, weren't they? Because they I think that guidance counselor might be getting set up. Yeah, and the fact that he said that only he can write them, it's like that's so brazen. not true. I don't think. But this guy's getting too big for his boots, especially considering, like I keep saying every week, I'm pretty sure Osanai is setting all this up. Like he again, it's so brazen him saying only he could figure this out, only he can write these articles and know all this. Yeah, again, he's just a puppet at the end of the day. Really, it's kind of sad. And we're seeing the adverse effects that he's getting a bit too big for his boots. You see this a lot in like I don't really know real life situations, but in like movie situations where like a character gets used by like a criminal or something, and then they start thinking they're like some hot shit, and then they just get like destroyed. You see it quite a lot with like villainous type characters, don't you? He's definitely not a villain or anything, but yeah, he's certainly getting yeah, a bit out of his depth here, isn't he? Like, what would happen if Osanai just stopped feeding him all this, like, and stopped being a part of this whole situation, and he was left to his own devices? Would he rot? Would he absolutely fail, and then his mind crumble after thinking it was such hot shit, and then actually being left to his own devices and failing? What would happen to your mentality then? I agree. Kind of like a math problem a little bit. Once you understand the common like denominator between different like values and like in a pattern, it's usually quite easy to figure things out. And it reminds me of again like a sequence of numbers like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. It's like when they're doubling. If you don't know they're doubling, obviously it's pretty easy to figure out. But once you find out that they're doubling, it's really easy to figure out what comes next. That's obviously a very elementary example, but I've always been quite interested in stuff like that. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Really? That's a coincidence, isn't it? Your brother just so happens to be a firefighter. Ah. You know, that's kind of stupid in regards to blaming them for inspiring copycats, but I get the worry. Like, from my point of view, it's solely down to the copycats, but yeah, I guess someone's got to take responsibility other than the copycats. Who knows why? It's just Japanese things and responsibility, I guess. They're big on their responsibility. Okay, so that's how he's figuring them out. That's the patterns. Pretty simple, actually. I mean, I say pretty simple. Initially, I imagine very hard to kind of figure out, but once you do figure out, it's very simple. I wish I could read Japanese. It'd be a lot easier understanding that scene of like the list of places. It's like, oh, they're just words that mean nothing to me. Same with like this. I imagine there's some meaning in this bookmark that she has. It looks like a. Oh, they have translated the top of it. To be fair, it looks like a receipt. May Yodo bookstore. I think it's a receipt for the book, perhaps. But yeah, maybe there's more to that. Like, there's things like that that probably do add a little bit to like the story and the mystery, or maybe help you solve it a little bit beforehand. That, unfortunately, again, as someone that doesn't speak Japanese, I'm not able to kind of understand unless they're translated. Is he? She got him promoted to president. You're overstepping your mark a bit, bro. Especially in the face of your master like this. He is. He's a nice guy. Impossible. Dang. He didn't even hug her before. Damn, she's quick. Holy crap. You don't want to piss this girl off. This guy doesn't. Nah, if only this guy knew what type of girl he was actually getting a relationship with here, he'd be running away. Again, I love Osanai, but my god, she's a crazy. Yeah, and as a girlfriend, can you imagine? What was I gonna go back to here? This. It's like it was made that I thought she was going to reveal herself right here. Is this like actually her saying this, or is this like the ordinary person she wants to be saying this? Is what I want to gather here. I don't mind people that try hard. Like, is that not a little weird? What I really like is people who don't do anything. Like totally the opposite of what would normally be considered. Yeah. Nani mo shinai hito nano. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Still don't really get it, but I think I kind of do. I don't know. It's one of those like David Lynch things. Like, kind of get it, kind of don't. I heard him say Shoshimin there though. And how quick was she with this? And he's getting real bold. Look at the date on that. Is that not a couple of weeks ago? I might have said 2024 to be fair. Yeah, he hadn't even hugged her. He just went for a kiss just like that. Picking up the pieces after her, is he? Literally dropping the hints. Again, I'm pretty sure there's been so many occasions of like this that it's like she again, it's not been outwardly said she's behind all this, but there's been so many little shots and sequences like this last week with the whole sweet making, thickening it, and yeah, it's been so much to say it's her. If it isn't her, I'll literally be gobsmacked. It's almost sadistic at this point, honestly. It's like she's toying with like an ant, a defenseless little ant that doesn't know any better. She's just like playing with. That's what it feels like. Now the ant thinks he's the king of the colony. I really like that scene with Kabato and his girlfriend at the end of last episode as well. I thought that was really cool. Didn't mention that in the intro. She was also stepping out of her boundaries a little bit as well. I mentioned this during that episode. It's like so some very subtle cues you have in language, even when not, just so I don't miss anything. Even like again, you see it a lot. I think I mentioned this. Even with like magicians, they can subtly kind of brainwash you and make you think a certain thing, even if you're talking about something totally different. They could add like keywords in like a sentence that make those words specifically stand out in your mind. So when you come to a decision that does involve that word that was subtly mentioned, that kind of pops out to you in your mind because you've heard that before, although you can't place where you heard that because the conversation was totally out of context to what that word is. Again, you see it quite often with like magicians like Darren Brown and stuff, for example. It's really quite ingenious. I imagine it comes from like studies of hypnotism and stuff like that. Not that I've looked too far into it, but I've always been really interested in that. You see it. I think I did watch a few years back like fail compilations of like hypnotists that go into schools and stuff, which was quite funny. But there is like an actual kind of science of it, I guess, in like in suggestion and stuff like that. I always find it quite amazing. I've always thought I would never be able to get hypnotized, but who knows? He's influenced a lot during this 3 episodes. Indeed, it was. Yes. Yes. But yeah, I kind of think, as I said a minute ago, I think she might be behind the person doing this. If you know what I'm saying, she's actually like, she's not just puppeteering. I keep what it's Urinal. That is his name, Urino. Urino. Um, yeah, she's not just like the puppeteer behind like Urino and his is inquisition the right word to use? Is it inquiry into this whole crime? She's not just behind his looking into it, but she's actually like, she's too smart for it to be linked back to her. So I think she's used someone else in that position, hasn't she? But all of the items that they are burning are kind of related to her, and I think that might be like the thing of she isn't hinting to Urino. It sounds terrible when I say it, apologies. I'm pronouncing it horribly. She is, that mystery isn't for him. Like the mystery of the burnings is for him, but the deeper mystery into who set up the person doing this seems to be for Kabato. I think. I purely speculating here, but like who else but Kabato and Dojima can actually understand that there's even more to this than just like the person doing the arsons. So yeah, it's like a double layered, kind of like the suite that I mentioned that was mentioned last week. It's not just got the layers of Urano and his mystery with the burnings. It's also got the layers of Kabato actually looking beyond the crimes and looking into the pieces in the crimes, the van and the bike, and how they relate back to who's setting this up, which is Osanai. So I think she's left multiple clues for different people. Is maybe what I'm trying to say here. Again, could just be talking absolute nonsense, but yeah, I think that does kind of fit quite well. Like I said, with the whole layers of that horribly diabetic food that we saw last week. And it might not be for Kabato. Who knows? I could just be talking absolute nonsense. in a way. I think we did see her last season enter the room, didn't we? Yeah. Damn. Is that his girlfriend? Who are we talking about here? That is his girlfriend? She's double cheating on him? Wow, what way to find that out? I guess he's not so good at solving mysteries, is he? Or he's getting double cheated on and didn't even realise. And I think that's what she's counting on. Information manipulation. You see that tactic used quite often, actually, don't you? With like informants and stuff. Okay, good episode. It does. This is definitely the longest arc of the series so far, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah, another good episode. Another good episode. I do want to go back to that scene. So again, was that it? Was it just like what I'm talking about is in regards to Gabato. I'm not sure if it's his girlfriend. Is that all we got from her? That she's cheating on him twice. Like, was there no other information involved about that? I mean, just the fact that she's involved in any way is again adds even more to the suspicion with Osanai. I think. Like, this has been so beautifully put together with all the pieces. It's 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 a master's construction of a crime, if you know what I'm saying. All of these pieces that fit together so well. Yeah, it's got to be her. Like I said, it's just so well thought out in that regard. It would take a master criminal to uh to get this done. So I'm just like envisioning in my head like a vision of Alok Sinai like behind bars, just like looking very sneaky and like a devil, like waiting to get out, almost like the Joker in like the Dark Knight or something. Um, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. As I said, I did just want to go back to this scene when they were talking to the girl. So why does he say that? Why does he say massacre? Like, what has he realised? I don't. That's what I'm struggling here to understand. What has he realised just from hearing his girlfriend's name? Is it again to bring her in the situation? Is it because he knows Osanai wants to bring her in the situation as well and get things a bit messy? I'm not really sure. That's another thing I'm kind of confused of here. What is Osanai's kind of end goal? Is it to continue what we were doing in the first season? It kind of seems like that's the case, even though they both said that they're agreeing not to kind of, and they're agreed to be ordinary people and stay away from each other. She just can't help herself? Is she just that evil in a good way? I guess in a good way, in a way I like. She's just that evil that she just can't help it, and she's just got to come up with this crazy ass convoluted crime spree, we call it, to make him kind of not be ordinary and figure this out and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm not fully kind of clear on the end goal, and like I said, I'm not fully clear why he had this reaction to hearing his girlfriend's name. but when would that have happened? So yeah, how is she the one carrying out the like? Again, I've got three suspects of like who's carrying out these crimes. I mean, again, I'm pretty sure Osanai's behind them, but the one actually carrying them out on behalf of her is again. I heard the theories of it being Urino's friend that we hear him talking to, and I think that's viable. Could be that teacher that we saw last episode talking about not having the story in the paper. I think that one's less believable. Or third option, it seems like it could be his girlfriend who's cheating on him. Is that what it is? Like she's always switching guys. Is she getting other people to? Maybe it's like a three-layer thing of Osanai, and then she's got Kabato's girlfriend hiring other boys to do these arsons. I'm not sure how likely that is, but that's like a three-layered kind of crime there. Like she says this, like it's the second time. Like why does any girl need a boyfriend or two boyfriends or three boyfriends? Maybe that's just how she is. She didn't seem like that kind of girl when we saw her last episode. Um, so again, maybe I'm just thinking she might be meeting up with boys to get him to do the crimes, the arsons. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. Not really sure what the significance of this is, other than to hurt Kabato. And maybe that's the plan of all of this. Who knows? But yeah, do let me know what you guys thought about this one down in the comment section. Again, lots of really interesting scenes today. I especially did love. Well, it's kind of a shame to see Rhino kind of getting too big for his boots, but I did especially love these scenes here. I love this scene of again Osanai just looking down on him like he's a little ant. He's picking up her little pieces on the floor there, looking at like again, literally like manipulating him like he's some kind of tied up animal or something. It's yeah, it's quite sadistic actually. But yeah, thank you guys for watching again. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. And I'll see you guys next week with episode 4.